Hi, I'm Bhavesh, and in this tutorial, we are going to continue with the Python tutorial from the official Python documentation. So let's begin. Whetting your appetite. Let's begin with the first paragraph. If you do much work on computers, eventually you'll find that there is some task that you'd like to automate. For example, you may wish to perform a search and replace over a large number of text files, or rename and rearrange a bunch of photo files in a complicated way. Perhaps you'd like to write a small custom database or a specialized GUI application or a simple game. Now, me personally, I did come across a lot of cases where I wanted to automate a lot of tasks. And what I have usually resorted to is there was an application called AutoHotkey or macros where you can record your steps and you can play them back. So you can automate your tasks like that. But I have certainly explored some automation with Python as well before. But I think basically shell scripts, Windows Bash shell, Linux Bash shell, or Windows batch files, they can also be used for automation. But I guess Python is a much better general purpose language. If you want to do that. Yeah, renaming or arranging photos or writing my own custom database. No, I have probably not gone so much more technical like the gurus in the technical world would have gone to write my own database. So no, I've not explored this option or not even thought about writing my own database. But a GUI application or simple game, yeah, although not necessarily a game, but a GUI application, yes, I did think about creating something that would make my life easier. Although a command line utility would also do the job for me. If I'm writing it, I do not really need a GUI for that because if I'm creating the application, I know how it is structured, how it is going to work, what all options it has. So I would not really need a GUI application. Anyways, let's continue. So if you're a professional software developer, you may work with several C, C++, Java libraries, but find the usual write, compile, test, recompile cycle is too slow. I guess this is a problem. So even I am a software developer, but I am not a C, C++, Java software developer. So, but yeah, even with my line of work, it requires compilation, recompilation every time. Or perhaps you're writing a test suite for such a library and find writing the testing code a tedious task. I've heard that with unit testing, you have to write a lot of unit test cases, and I'm not sure how professional teams allocate enough of their company resources in writing test cases. I guess it is important. Uh, but then I cannot imagine writing test cases for all my logic. But yeah, I guess it is quite a mandatory step in most of the organizations. Or maybe you have written a program that could use an extension language, or you'd want to design and implement a whole new language for your application. Designing a new language is far out of my scope, at least. But yeah, I can see a lot of these tasks. What they're trying to say is that we can do a lot of these tasks with Python and quite easily. So Python is just the language for you. Sure, it is quite easy to learn and you can quickly create a lot of things. Let's continue. You could write a Unix shell script, as we were talking about, or Windows batch files for some of these tasks, but these scripts are best at moving around files and changing text data. Not suited for GUI applications or games. I'm not sure if Python is suited either for GUI applications. I mean, I have come across Tincter. I'm not sure which other GUI framework is available for Python that is quite popular. Let's have a look at it. Python frameworks. These days, yeah, we have Qt. So PyQt5. I've never looked at Qt, but I know Qt is very popular. Tincter I've used once. Kiwi also I've used once, but these I've used a long time ago when I was exploring the applications. But then these applications did not look very polished. I'm not sure if it is possible to create polished applications with Tincture or Kiwi, but yeah, these would be some options. WX Python, libavg. Okay. But I'm sure Qt is quite, uh, it has a lot of, what do you call, it can actually, it would have a lot of support and it would have a lot of backing from a lot of different companies, and you could actually create professional GUI applications with Qt. I have seen one such application, just Transmission Qt. So Transmission is a torrent downloader. So we have Transmission Qt. That is what I've used. So yeah, I guess these are some GUI frameworks for Python. Yeah, so if you want to create a GUI application or games, you could do that with Python as compared with shell scripts, Unix shell script or Windows batch files. That the usage of Python is much easier and much better. You could write a C, Java program, but it can take a lot of development time to get even the first draft program, I'm sure. I cannot imagine getting stuff done in languages which are verbose, not to mention very verbose. With Python, the benefit is that you can write small code quickly, get things done fast. Python is simpler to use, of course, for sure it is. Available on Windows, Mac OS, Unix operating systems. Includes your Linux kernel-based GNU Linux operating systems like Ubuntu, Linux Mint, Windows 10, Windows 11, and so on. So basically, what they mean to say is Python runs on most of the operating systems, and it'll help you to get the job done more quickly. That's true with Python. You can get a small application up and running. You can solve a lot of problems fast. You can create automation. You can create scripts. But when it comes to developing applications which are huge, humongous, with millions of lines of code, a core system for banks, core system for insurance companies, and such, you have no other option but to go back to C, C++, Java, because Python, I guess you can convert Python to a C++ code, but I'm not sure how a converted code is maintainable or usable. But you don't have any other option when it comes to core applications or huge applications where you require performance. But for all the other small, fast development, fast delivery, quick solutions, Python is the best. So Python is simple to use, but it is a real programming language. Yeah, it is a real programming language. Of course it is, offering much more structure and support for large programs than shell scripts or batch files can offer. On the other hand, Python also offers much more error checking than C. And being a very high level language, it is almost English like. If you read it, it's English. It has high level data types built in, such as flexible arrays and dictionaries. Because of its more general data types, Python is applicable to a much larger problem domain than AWK or even Perl. I have no idea about these languages. Yet many things are at least as easy in Python as in those languages. So I cannot relate to this last sentence. But yeah, Python is a very high level language. It is almost English like. And very high level data structures like flexible arrays, that is lists, and dictionaries, that is similar to your heap in Java. These are built-in data structures. Python allows you to split your program into modules that can be reused in other programs. So reusability of modules is available. It comes with a large collection of standard modules that you can use basis as the basis of your programs or as examples to start learning to program in Python. So it comes with a large standard library, just like Java. A lot of inbuilt functions for operating system, time, string manipulation, and a lot of other things. These modules provide things like file input output, system calls, sockets, and even interfaces to a GUI. Interface tools, toolkits like TK. I think TK stands for Tincture. Again, so is this standard Tincture part of Python? Not sure about this. But yeah, a lot of math related or general purpose modules which can be used for a lot of things are available. Let's move on. Python is an interpreted language. It can save you considerable time during program development because no compilation and linking is necessary. I'm sure with compilation it takes a lot of time, but it takes a lot of time with compilation only when your programs are huge or you need to compile your entire application at once. That is the time when compilation will waste a lot of time. Like if you have a web app, you have to deploy it. If you have a Java web app, which is humongous, it would probably take a lot of time for compilation. But for small applications, I don't think compilation will take a lot of time. Being an interpreted language is Python's biggest problem as well when it comes to runtime. The runtime performance of Python is quite abysmal when it compares with Java or C++. The interpreter can be used interactively. That's cool. We can open a command prompt and you can create variables on the fly. You can execute single line statements or multi-line statements. You can create loops and you can test your code on the command line. But even Java has this these days. Java has probably copied Python to you're in new developers, new programmers. But yeah, it is available in Java also these days. The world is progressing, which makes it easy to experiment with features of the language, to write throwaway programs or to test functions during bottom-up program development. It is also a handy desk calculator. Sure it is. But why would I use a programming language and not a Windows calculator? I mean, I can. I guess it gives you more formula, you can create your own formulas and so on, but you can do that in Excel also. You can write your formulas in Excel as well. But okay, it can be used as a desk calculator for sure. Python enables programs to be written correctly, compactly, and readably. Sorry. Python enables programs to be written compactly and readably. Although there are a lot of short forms available in Python to write your program, so the readability can drastically decrease unless you take care, write it in such a way that the other people are able to understand what you have written. But yeah, it is very compact for sure. Programs written in Python are typically much shorter than the equivalent C, C++, Java program for several reasons. High-level data types allow you to express complex operations in a single statement. You can just, in one single line, you can create a complex data structure. Statement grouping is done by indentation instead of beginning and ending with brackets. Yeah, this saves a lot of lines. No variable or argument declarations are necessary. You can just directly go ahead and assign a value. You don't need separate declaration line. But these things apply to other languages also, like Java. But yeah, first line, I guess complex things can be done in lot less lines in Python than in Java for sure. Python is extensible, so it has extendability. If you know how to program in C, it's easy to add a new built-in function or module to the interpreter. Yeah, Python allows this. I don't know if any other language allows this level of extensibility. You can create your own C, I think even C++ functions, programs, and use those programs as an import. You can import those C, C++ modules or programs into your Python code. So you can add your own functionality to the existing built-in functionality, and the speed of execution is going to be very fast because you have written it in C or C++ and it is being called from Python directly. You can use it in your programs as a native method, native functionality. Either to perform critical operations at maximum speed, you can do this in a very good way. Like you can analyze which part of your Python program your computer spends most of the time in, and that specific part you can convert it into C, C++, and you can make it a module, import it into your Python code, and directly use it. But if you do that, you're just basically converting your entire, not your entire code, major part of the code, or the critical part of your code into C or C++. To link Python programs to libraries that may only be available in binary form, such as vendor-specific graphics library. Yeah, so it allows extensibility. You can also import other programs where source code is not available. Only binary executable, I guess, is available. Once you are really hooked, you can link the Python interpreter to an application written in C and use it as an extension or command language for that application. I can link the Python interpreter to an application written in C. Okay, not understanding this. Once you are really hooked, you can link the Python interpreter to an application written in C and use it as an extension or command language for that application. So if I have a program written in C, I can link a Python interpreter to my C program and I can use it to extend my C program. I can create a command language for the application. I do not understand this. Anyways, let's move ahead. By the way, the language is named after the BBC show Monty Python's Flying Circus. That has nothing to do with reptiles. This is quite important. It has nothing to do with Python, a reptile. Moving on, making references to Monty Python skits in documentation is not only allowed, it is encouraged. Now that you're all excited about Python, very excited, you'll want to examine it in some more detail. Since the best way to learn a language is to use it, it invites you to play with the Python interpreter as you read. In the next chapter, the mechanics of using interpreter are explained. This is rather mundane information but essential for trying out examples shown later. Rest of the tutorial introduces various features of the Python language and system through examples, beginning with simple expressions, statements and data types through functions and modules, and finally touching upon advanced concepts like exceptions and user-defined classes. So we basically cover all the basic functionalities of Python with simple statements, data structures, modules, exceptions, and classes. Okay, so this covers our basic introduction and extension introduction of what all can you expect from Python. Let's see. So the next chapter is going to be using the Python interpreter. Okay, so let us continue with the next chapter in the next video. Thank you for watching today's video. If you do like this content, do subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.